Hello, this is Sonja from my happy space. Welcome back at my channel. I'm excited to do my first entry in my free devotional, which is Hello Joy. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I wrote this devotional and I pass it on free of charge with the ephemera if you just subscribe to my channel, and I will send you this devotional, but I will link the video up here so you can see exactly what it is all about. So yeah, thank you very much for each one who requested the video. I'm sure everybody have already received it, and I'm so excited to see what you're going to do with it. So I've decided to do two things today. I want to do an entry in my Bible, but first of all, I wanted to play a little bit with this ephemera, and I wanted to make a nice fun tag which I can actually write down the verses which I'm looking at and do a little bit of personal journaling. So I've got these templates of tags which I'm just using my copy paper for it, and I'm just copying that. I've made a little envelope template also with some of the pattern paper which I've also want to put on my tag, and I've got this little sandwich bag, and obviously I've got the little Polaroids and this cute little seed packet envelopes, and I've got my ring enforcers. I've got everything ready here, obviously my ephemera. Then I've got rope to put on my tags, and I've got these pom-poms, which is definitely want to use that. And then obviously I've got my little ring, which I'm going to use, and some clippies. I've just put everything out so I can remember to use it. Some eyelet enforcers, some buttons, and some paper clips and things like that. So yeah, I've got everything ready here, and I'm going to start putting it together. So I'm going to put you on fast forward, and then we're going to put this together. Okay, so first what I've done is I used this templates to make just some tags. There is some tags in the devotional also, or in the ephemera rather, but I've just decided to use the pattern papers to make my own tags so I can have some more journaling space. So I'm just using that as a template to make these tags, and then I'm going to decorate it with all the beautiful ephemera. So I'm just using some doilies in my stas, and I'm just going to cut it in half to sort of let it hang over. I like that effect. Then just putting it straight on. Anyway, it was a bit too big also, so I'm just going to use that other doily on the other side. Now I'm just reaching for the flowers to put also on the tag. I'm going to use some foam tape just to give it a little bit of dimension, because that's nice. If you don't work in your Bible or my interleaf Bible, I try not to put too much dimension in my Bible. Then you can do it on these tags. Just bring it a little bit more alive, especially if you put a word fetty next to it. I just think it, otherwise everything is so flat on the label. So that is my first tag is now done. So I'm moving on to another one. I was first going to use the tag I make first with the word joy as my front cover, but I'm changing my mind later and using that pink gingham one as my front cover. It just looked so jolly, and I just preferred that. So now I'm moving onto my third tag, and I'm just using some of my own doilies, which is in my Etsy shop, to decorate that, and with that rose. And then I decided to put some thread underneath it just to give it a little bit of dimension and interest. I always struggle to make it look organic and just sort of natural. That just sort of just thrown on there. If anybody has some tips for me, let me know how I can do that. I ended up putting also foam tape underneath it just to make it a little bit easier. So that is my 4 tags so far done. I've decided to put some of these cute little heart buttons on there. I just went sort of from my stash, because I sometimes think I forget to use these little things like buttons, and yeah, I just thought that will look very cute on these tags. So now I'm just going to decorate this little sandwich bag, and I decided to put in there that join my presents and your presents rather, and I've also decided to use that cute little pom-poms to decorate the bottom of the Polaroid or the sentiment. These pom-poms I always have in my stash. Wherever I go to a shop and I see a color that I like, I always get it, because they're always so useful. They just make everything look so pretty and so festive. And seeing that we are working with joy, it's just nice to have all these beautiful colors. So I've decided to use one of the tags I've made also to put inside there for more journaling, and I've decided to use a ring enforcer just to go around that, and to put some pink twine through there as a bow. Love how that turned out, and I'm going to connect it with the little paper bag or the sandwich bag with a paper clip just to keep it together. So that is my little paper bag ready. I'm just showing what I've done already. I'm just going to just give you an example of sort of one thing, type of item in the ring tag, and then I'm just going to do it off camera, and then obviously give you a flip through. Now I'm just assembling my envelope, which I made out of some of my pattern paper. It's just an envelope I just open flat, I just trace it, and I'm just putting it together. So I also put a paper clip there at the top, and then I put the word strength on there, just to maybe I can write something when I get to that part of the devotional about strength. And I've decided to use this big flower just to give it some interest. And I think I end up putting a little button also on there, just to that space next to the flower was a little bit empty for me, and then I decided to put one of the Polaroid in there just to have journaling space, but it was a bit too big, so I'm just cutting it a bit shorter so I can pop it in there. So I will show you later how I connect this envelope also to the ring tag. So that my envelope is done. So now I'm moving on to one of these small little seed packet envelopes. I'm just using some of the pattern paper. It was a bit too white for me. So I'm just putting that as a back, and then I'm putting the word joy there, or J.O.Y, which is one of the sections of the devotional. So when we get to that section, I can do some journaling in there. And I've decided to go for these bright blue pom-poms, and just put that also at the bottom of the envelope just to decorate it a little bit. You can basically throw anything on these, put anything on it. I think it will look pretty. Now I'm just moving on to this longer little white envelopes, and I've yet again used the pattern paper just to make it a little bit more colorful. And then I'm just putting some of this journaling cards on top of inside, put a paper clip on there. So now I'm just going to start assembling my tag. As I said, I've decided to change up my cover, but yeah, I'll show you that later. And I sort of alternated between little Polaroid, a tag I made, an envelope with something inside there to journal on, and I'm just decided to do a reinforcer also there, so when I flip through my tag that it doesn't get damaged. So I'm basically just putting a hole on the flap of the envelope. So I'm just putting some of that journaling card or tags, which is part of the ephemera. I put that on there, and then I put this cute little white envelope on there. I love how that one turned out. Another Polaroid. As you can see, I'm just alternating it, and now I'm going to put the paper back there. I've decided to put it through the hole of the tag, and it works fairly good. When I want to do my journaling, obviously I will just take it out and do my journaling on there. So this is the finished tag system. I'm just deciding to put some rickrack around there because I think rickrack is so fun. And then I'm going for my stas and just auditioning and see what of these ribbons will look the best. And I decided on these two ribbons. Okay, so I'm going to give you a quick little flip through there. I've decided to start with Hello Joy first. And this is the first one, second tag, Joy in Obedience. Sort of small little envelope with a journaling spot in there. Another Polaroid, another small little envelope with a journaling or one of these tags in there to write down. Lots of journaling space, and this is how I connected my envelope to the tag system. I just put a piece of rectangular paper next to the envelope, connected to the envelope, so I can put a hole through there. And my little tag with the thread, one of these small envelopes. I think I made that one off camera. I just don't have anything in there, so I decided to pop in there. Luckily, it all fit perfectly in there. I didn't plan it like that. And this is a sandwich bag. As I said, when I want to journal, I'll take it out. Another Polaroid, small little bag we made. One of the tags, which is my ephemera. Another small little bag with a journaling space in there. A Polaroid. And then when I got to that pink one, I decided I I prefer that pink tag, and I've just moved it to the front. It was just a little bit more bright and colorful for me. But then I've just swapped over. There was the word Fetty, and that one said Jesus, and the word Fetty and the one I had in front said joy. So I just swapped it over because I wanted to start with joy. So this completes my tag system. So stay tuned for my Bible entry. I know it's a long video, but I really wanted to make a tag system, but I also wanted to make a Bible journaling entry. So okay, let's hop over to my Bible journaling entry. I'm going to make a polka dot background. I was inspired by this blind material, my ephemera was inspired by this blind material in my kitchen. So I wanted to recreate this polka dot background, but I'm obviously going to do the reverse because my background is going to be white and my polka dot is going to be blue. So I'm just creating a background, and then I'm going to do lots of clusters, layering. I'm going to have a little journaling card behind the doilies and pattern papers. You can see in a minute. I love how it turned out. I made lots of mistakes, and I kept all the mistakes in here so you can see. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to use that Scrabble pieces and create the word joy there at the top and then Jesus down. So I've done it, but I've done it a little bit too far away from the edge of the page, and I had to really squeeze my doilies and the tag back and my tag in there. So I'm going to change also that, and then it sort of damaged my page quite a lot, so I had to rethink it again. So I'm just using some of that pattern paper just to just create another sort of interest. As I said, lots of layering. I'm also putting a paper clip there, also just for fun. I love how that looks with a little paper clip there. And here, as you can see, I make one of my mistakes. Is I spilled all my glue. My glue little pot just burst open. It didn't break, so I had to save it. So yeah, the best thing I could do is just put some baby powder on there. That worked actually very, very well. I mean, really, I didn't even have to have it on there for a minute, and then when I blew it off, it was all it was perfectly. I didn't have any problem. So I'm just putting my doilies on there, and I'm going to put another little sandwich bag there, which I can make a tag, which I'm going to write all my journaling in there. And then I realized, but these little tiles is just a bit too close. I feel very squashed. So off camera, I took everything off, but now I've damaged my page quite a lot. So I'm just going to tuck some more pattern paper in the side. I'm just going to try to recreate it, or not recreate it, save it. And I'm just making a card to go in there. Okay, the place where I'm journaling, obviously, if you haven't guessed yet, is in Psalm 16, verse 11, which is sort of the main verse for this devotional, and also the main section, which is, you make known to me the path of life. In your presence, there is fullness of joy. And in the devotional, I did say our friend Joy, what that meant to her, and that she realized that she could take God at His word. If she lacked joy in her life, and it says that in His presence she can find joy, she needs to take Him up in His word and just trust that that is the case. And how wonderful it is when she decided that she could take Him up on His word, that she could trust Him. So my card I made, I've just wrote the verse out, and what I did is I went to the Bible Hub and I looked for each of these words, and I just wrote a sort of a more in-depth meaning about all these words. Like, for instance, what fullness means, what joy means, what the path of my life means, what it means to know Him. And it's wonderful to see all these different things, because sometimes when you read a verse and you just quickly read over it, you might actually not take in exactly what it says and what it means. I really would encourage you to do something like that. Just to go and dissect the verse, look at it, look at the different meanings. As I said, Bible Hub or Strong's Concordance is a very good sort of app to use. So yeah, that completes my entry. I love how it turned out. I'm very glad I did the tag system and I did my entry. This is some ideas for you guys to use it. Remember to tag me when you do something on social media, or use the hashtag, which I'll put up here at the top again. So I'm going to leave a video up here, which you can watch if you haven't picked up this devotional. And I would love to see you on that side. And I'm also going to leave a video up here, which will show you how I use verse mapping and digging deeper into the Word of God, if you're interested to see how I'm doing that. Thanks for each one who picked up this devotional and for your support. Thanks for each one who bought me a coffee. I really appreciate it. You must have a fantastic week, and thanks very much for watching. Bye-bye.